The next key part to judge if you're doing well, if you're winning your negotiation or you're losing your negotiation, is the price. Now, the price is what we often focus on the most in a negotiation. As we just looked at, for flex points, it's not the only thing. It could be your goals. What's your speed of delivery? What's your quality? What's your production capacity? But of course, price is still important. And just like we were talking about with the flex points, price is different for the buyer and for the seller. Now, we don't need to go over every detail, but just remember, if you're the buyer, you're going to have a resistance price. That means that you need to buy at that price or under. And if you're a seller, you're going to have a resistance price and you need to sell at that price or higher, right? Please, let's remember this basic idea. It's in our course, repeated over and over again. The resistance, right? Buyer and seller are in opposite directions. All right, so let's look at this example here. We have a buyer and their resistance is 1,537. That's their resistance. So they're going to buy at this price or lower. They would like to buy lower, of course. Okay, so after they make some deals, what we can do is we can look at the prices of those deals. So we come down in our app to this section here called the weighted average price. So the weighted average price is the summary of the deals, all the deals you made. In this case, this group made 3 deals, and they add up the prices and the number of units, and you end up with your weighted average price. In this case, 1,362. Is that good? Is that a good price? Well, remember, up here, their resistance was 1,537, 1537. They would like to buy cheaper, 1537. And what did they do? 1365. So yes, they were able to get cheaper, lower price. So that's very good. But the key to remember is you can never go below the resistance. So kind of a key point there, right? In this case, the buyer cannot go above, the seller cannot go below. So you can be at it, you can be exactly at your resistance, and that's okay too. But of course, the further away from the resistance you are, the better. So if you're the buyer, you save more money. If you're the seller, you make more money. And that's your resistance here. Your weighted average price compared to your resistance. Now, there's no flex points here. This is going to impact your score, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's look at another example for a seller. So in this case, we have a seller, and the seller has a resistance also, resistance price of 1334. So they would need to sell for 1334 or higher because they want to make more money. They want to sell at a higher price. So 1334. Well, let's look at what they did. Here's their weighted average price. And they have 1432. So that's higher, right? So they were able to sell higher. And again, it's very basic calculation, right? You have your deals over here, and then your groups, the prices, and the units. So basically it's a per unit kind of price coming out because we divide it all out to come out to the average. And that's why we call it the weighted average price.